Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1370. Happy Friday. It is Friday, or is it Friday? We don't really know. These last 2 weeks, we have no idea what day it is. Yesterday felt like a Monday. Today, all of a sudden, feels like a Friday. It is Friday, though. It really doesn't feel like a Friday for me because I'm just getting back into like a rhythm. But I don't have anything this weekend, so it's really gonna feel like off because I'm probably gonna work like a normal weekday tomorrow and Sunday, which I normally do anyway, but a little different, when you have a break in there. Not that I did, I guess on New Year's Eve I did spend a day away, half a day away. So um and then finally we can kick it back on Monday. I'm really looking forward to Monday. It's a real Monday, a full 5-day week. That's also something different where you work an office job. It's like, oh, 5-day week. You get so spoiled around this time of year. Christmas, New Year's, short weeks, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I gotta go 5 full days. But I guess if you have a job that you love or you even really like, those 5-day weeks don't really bother you. But if you have a job you don't really care for, those 5-day weeks are brutal. So here we are. I don't have anything going on. I thought about going over to the Oak Creek card show tomorrow, but I'm not going to. I'm still pretty waylaid with getting orders shipped out. Where am I at? I think I'm well over 200 orders to ship. 237. So I'll be able to crack that down quite a bit today. But I think my wife's in real estate, and November, December in real estate, really slow time. And that's probably everywhere. It's probably not just geographical, but just because of the holidays. People aren't really thinking about buying homes. But then all of a sudden, it's like January 2nd, and my wife's phone just blows up with showings and new clients and all that. It's like because in real estate, it's the spring market, and it starts earlier and earlier, and like literally January 2nd. What's today? Today's the 3rd. I think she was lining up showings on New Year's Day, in New Year's Eve. So it's like it's already started, which is good. That's a very good thing. As long as those calls keep coming in, that's a very good thing. So I don't know what her schedule is. I'm pretty sure she has some showings tomorrow. So with Big Earn, still not cleared to go back to doggy daycare, but Monday's a great day because Ernie can go back and play with his friends at doggy daycare. He's like 100 and I hate when people say 1,000% or 110% because it's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. You can't give it 110%. There's no such thing. You give it 100%. And even that, like, you can't really give it 100%. Yeah, you can give it 99%. You can't give it 100%. You really can't give it 110%. But if there were such a thing as 110%, Ernie is 110% ready to go to doggy daycare. Let's call it 99%. He's 99% ready to go back to doggy daycare. So I'm looking forward to that. But I did get some work done. I had because my wife was working all day yesterday, and so I hung out with Ernie. He helped me, and he was actually pretty good. Like, and normally if it's not like if I don't have shipments that have to go out today, and I've got Ernie, like I will readjust my schedule. I'll do listings in here, or I'll do paperwork type stuff in this office because I can close it off and I can pick shit off the floor that he won't get to. Although the older he gets now, he's still puppy, and he'll be a puppy for, another year. But he's not like going after every single thing in sight. He still goes after stuff he shouldn't, but it's not as bad as it was a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. In my shipping room, I did clean it up quite a bit, but there's still a lot of stuff, and I don't think that's ever going to change. I'll try to get close to that, but not likely. He was actually pretty good. Like at the beginning, I gave him a new bone, so he was chewing on that, and he was good. And then he gets bored. He gets bored with the bone, ADD Ernie, and then he was just trying to get into everything, but not like real, like just sniffing basically. Like, oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? Just curious. He's a very curious puppy. So, but he was really good. He was really good. So he hung out with me in the shipping room. We went upstairs. We'd go potty, give him a treat, come back downstairs, and all right, let's settle him down. Here's a treat, buddy. That'll keep you occupied. That's like the iPad. His little beef jerky treat. It's actually a good size. And that's an iPad for puppies. Like that'll keep him occupied for a few minutes. So Ernie was a good boy. My mother-in-law's man friend flew back in, so I picked him up from the airport. And then we didn't have anything to eat for dinner. We had condiments and some Texas toast, frozen bread, bagels, peanut butter and jelly and tuna, but no like bread, just bagels. So if I wanted a tuna sandwich or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it would have had to been on a bagel. And I had some rice, but I had rice for lunch. I had a bagel for breakfast, rice for lunch. Fuck, we don't have anything. What do you want? So my wife's the picky one. I talk about this all the time. She's the picky one. So she's like, what do you want to do for dinner? Like, I don't know. What do you want to do? She's like, no, you make a decision. And I'm like, I'm not, no. This isn't how this works. You're the picky one. I will literally eat just about anything. Although sometimes she's like, well, how about this? And I'm like, I'm not in the mood for that. So she's like, just pick something. And I'm like, we have a rotation of like 4 restaurants we choose, maybe 5. And like, take one of those, think about each of those 5 restaurants and what are you in the mood for? And it's actually down to 4 because we had sushi on New Year's Eve. So she didn't make a decision. And I'm like, she's like, I think I'm just going to make pasta. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm just going to eat pistachios. And so I was just going to come downstairs and get my auctions going for last night's auctions that started, which by the way, 99centcards.com, new auctions went live. There you go, 99centcards.com. So I was going to come down here and do that. And then she's like, well, there's orange chicken that I picked up at Trader Joe's in the freezer. It's one of those where you just throw and I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll have that. So I came down real quick and got my auction scanned in, and then I could do it on the laptop upstairs from Car Dealer Pro. And so I make that, and I'm looking at the bag of this orange chicken from Trader Joe's. I'm looking at the ingredients, and it's like it takes up the entire, and I'm like, I don't know if I should be eating this. This is poison. And she's like, well, if you like it, she's like, I don't have to get it again. She's like, it's at Trader Joe's. We don't go. Trader Joe's is like kind of a pain in the ass here, so we don't go there often. So I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, Jesus, and it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good, and I had it with some of my rice cups, and wasn't that good. Wasn't bad, but it was closer to bad than good. So that was my night. So I think I've got to get envelopes today. Got to get those today. So I'll make a Walmart run and swing by. Aldi is right on the way to Walmart. So I'll swing by the old ALDI and pick up some groceries. So that was my day. What else is going on? So I'm not going to do any card shows tomorrow, which is kind of a bummer because I do want to get over to Oak Creek, but I've got plenty to do, and it's a lot. It's a hike, man. It's like an hour and a half drive for me because Oak Creek is on like the very south side of Milwaukee, and I'm on like the very west side of Madison. So it's a long drive. So no Oak Creek tomorrow for me. And I probably won't do any card shows, hit up any card shows until the next Madison card show, which is Saturday, January 25th. I don't know if there's anything going on. I'll look in to see what's going on. Depends what our weekend is next Saturday. If there are any shows, what would that be? The 4th plus 7, 11, January 11th. I'm not sure if there's any shows around here on Jan 11. And then let's see, the following weekend is Cubs convention. And then the following weekend is Madison card show. So I guess if anything, it would be next weekend. So we'll see. Looking forward to Cubs convention as we get closer. I have confirmed my buddy Ethan Roberts is gonna be there. He's obviously on the 40-man roster, so he will be at Cubs Con. Glendon Rush will be back. We ripped some wax last year. We're gonna do that again on Thursday night. I go into Cubs convention on Thursday, which ended up being my like favorite day for a couple of reasons. One, it's like laid back. And like the veteran players are getting in, there's just a small amount of autographers and there's probably 20 or more hanging out in the lobby. The guys are like more willing to sign, like even some of the bigger name older guys because it's a smaller crowd. And it's not as crazy. Up until last year, I would go into Cubs convention on Friday morning. So I would take the train in. So it was planes. No, wait, it was not planes. It was trains, taxis, and automobiles because I would drive an hour and 15 minutes to Harvard, Illinois to get on the Metro, take the train in to downtown Chicago, and then take a taxi from the train station to the hotel. And you get to the hotel and it's just a fucking madhouse. And I get there at like noon. And so like I've got two other guys that my buddy Dave Arnold, who he's probably not here because he's a teacher, so he sleeps in during Christmas break. Dave and my buddy Paul Crawley. And so usually Crawley's checking in to get the passes. So I think you can check in starting at noon. And then Dave and I usually get there around the same time. He takes the train in from Macomb. And so I'll check in with like the bellhop, put my luggage away before we get the rooms. And it's just fucking madhouse. And it's like stimulation overload. But going in Thursday, I've already got my room. I don't have to deal with that. Can sleep in a little bit if I had a few beers and stayed out late the night before on Thursday. So I really prefer going on Thursday. So I'll be heading down on Thursday for Cubs convention in 2 weeks. What's going on in the chat? We've got Peter with us. Good morning. Happy Friday. Kevin Hawthorne's here from Lakeland, Florida. What's up? Mr. Archer, good morning. JK Cards, good morning. Is it a 2-cup coffee type of day? How were the sales yesterday? Just 1 cup. 1 big cup, though. Just like always. I shouldn't say always, because have I had regular coffee? I don't know if I've had regular coffee at home. Maybe once when I ran. Yes, there was a time where I didn't get my mushroom coffee in between time. Now they send it like automatically, and I have like fucking 7 bags of Rise mushroom coffee. I need to like figure out how to get that stopped. I'll go through it, but I don't need 2 bags every month. So I think there was a time when I was like manually ordering it where I ran out and I had to have regular coffee for a few days. So just my standard. I think it is. Technically, it probably would be considered 2 cups. No, it literally is 2 cups because I literally fill a coffee cup up with water. And I do this, and my wife's like, why don't you just microwave a larger cup or do it on the stove top? And I'm like, this is just the way I do it. So what I'll do is I'll microwave like a coffee cup with water, microwave it 2 minutes, splash it into my mug, fill up, second cup, microwave, boom, mushroom coffee. So it is literally 2 cups. Victor, happy Friday. It's a cold morning. It's cold here. Counting the days for Cubs convention. Heck yeah. I cannot wait. Fun times. David, good morning. Kyle's here. Good morning. Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Porter's here. What's up? Red Light 34 is in the house. John Keating's here, and he writes a novel. So a week after me proclaiming the committee got it right, the top 4 seeds get eliminated. 3 out of the 4 teams left east of the Mississippi. The other one close enough. Yeah, how about that? How about the college football playoffs? It's upset city. So I'm rooting for Ohio State and Penn State. Ohio State and Penn State. And now that you mentioned east of the Mississippi, there's really not many powerhouses west of the Mississippi. Oklahoma, Texas, those are big names in college football. But I mean, West Coast, like that's some shitty football in the Pac-12 or whatever the hell it is now, Pac-10, Pac-12. Every once in a while, some years you get some USC, I guess, on occasion. John says, when one declares West Coast teams are soft, it doesn't mean East Coast teams are good. West Coast teams are soft is a standalone statement. East Coast football teams, like who is would you consider any of the teams East Coast? I wouldn't. College football playoffs. Where's the bracket? Playoff bracket. Let's just find a bracket. Here we go. Thank you, CBS Sports. All right. Clemson. Okay. That's East Coast, South Carolina. Texas, not East Coast, not West Coast either. Tennessee, neither. Ohio State, neither. SMU, neither. Penn State, neither. Indiana, neither. Notre Dame, neither. Let's see where we at. Arizona State, neither. Oregon, that's a West Coast. Boise State, neither. Georgia, I guess you can consider Georgia East Coast. Final 4, Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame. None of those are East Coast and none of those are West Coast. So the flyover states, basically. I guess Pennsylvania is not really a flyover state, but Indiana is. Ohio is. Texas, I guess, not really a flyover state. Good morning, Brian. Offbeat All-Stars in the house. John says, Ernie needs an antler. Those are great and perfectly safe. Brian, good morning, hobby friends. Good morning to you. Zach says, good morning. I'm calling it now. Bitcoin will hit 100K in 2025. There you go. That's going out on a ledge. Bitcoin 100K. Brian says, man friend, I thought we called him the side piece. Ew. Mother-in-law's man corsage. Boston Smoke is here. Good morning. Zach says, I snuck some cardboard boxes into my trash this morning. I feel better getting this off my chest before I enter the gates of hell. There you go. You better be careful. People are going to come at you. Good morning, Uncle Rich. Flesh corsage is the proper terminology. Speaking of trash, first time in 24 years, the neighborhood has switched trash haulers. It's trash day, and the previous mooks are picking up their bins. Each house has 4 trash cans in front of it. John says Zach says it's 2025. Are we sure Rich should still have a wrench? I thought we agreed that Unicorn Cupcake was getting it. There should be a vote. Orlando is here. Good morning. Neighborhood looks like box 13 right now. That's not a good look. Not a good look. JK says, have you tried the multiple listings from photos format on eBay? I have not. Or are you a diehard Car Dealer Pro fan? Or did you sell your soul to Car Dealer Pro? So the multiple listings, I don't know what that is. If you're talking about the AI on eBay, no, I have not tried it. There's no reason for me to try it. For those that, I have heard from others that they've tried it and they didn't like it. And it was more work than even manually listing in some instances. So if some want to try it, go for it. But no, not for me. John says, I believe all of Bo's auction picks are snapped from his phone. No, that is not correct. Probably a few, I'm sure. Very few are snapped from my phone, but there are. If it's a relic, like a thick card, basically that can't scan, that's going to be that will be. If it's a larger item, that will be snapped from my phone. If I just grab a stack, sometimes I grab a stack of cards, even if it's, a scannable card, I'll snap it from my phone. But most of my auctions are scanned in with my feed scanner. Brian says, Zach and Porter, I have a pile of cardboard large enough for a bonfire, and I plan on doing just that. Wow, sinners in the house. Sinners throwing cards away, burning cards. Orlando says, hobby hotline for me with Dr. Beckett tomorrow morning, then Fort Lauderdale. Very cool. Now that's a hobby hotline I can tune into. Orlando and Dr. Beckett. John says, which beer are you hauling into the city this year? So for me, it's typically Coors Light. It's easier to haul in a case than it is to go and buy from Walgreens, because Walgreens a couple blocks, and usually Cubs convention weekend is like 20 below zero with a foot of snow. It just seems like every Cubs convention there's a blizzard. We had a blizzard. A lot of people did come in early last year because of the weather, trying to beat the blizzard, and we got a pretty and actually downtown Chicago didn't get a blizzard, but to get to downtown, if you were from the suburbs or out in Wisconsin or central Illinois, then you were fucked because they got the blizzard. It was actually not too bad downtown. Zach says, I like burning cardboard a lot. Now is not the time for me. Michael Renicke's in the house. Good morning. Cooter is here. Good morning. Zach says, Bo, the Fisk you just listed is a high priority for my collection. I don't even know which Fisk I listed. I have put my best offer forward. If that card doesn't end up in my collection, I will be sad. I don't see that card often. Now I'm curious. What Fisk I put up for auction. So let's just do a little Oh, opened a new tab. All right. Newly listed. So here's some of the auctions that went live last night. So some baseball card magazine. George Brett, Nolan Ryan. Oh, and of course the picture doesn't even come. So it's a baseball card magazine. There's a problem with my gallery picture. For some reason, it shows up fine on the listing, but it doesn't. So there you go. I'm surprised you don't see that come up often. Baseball card magazine seems like there's quite a few cards out there. John says, Bo probably still paying for Club Penguin because he can't figure out how to cancel. My mushroom coffee. Or I don't know what Club Penguin is. Good morning. Back at the gym for Tracy. L1C, tomorrow is my birthday. What did you get me? I will settle for that trial. There you go. There you go. I'll give you a happy birthday shout out tomorrow morning on Hobby Evolution. How about that? Zach and Porter says Nebraska. Nebraska had some years. And I guess, yeah, that's west of the Mississippi. John says west of the Rockies equals mathletes and water polo. And Porter says, don't forget volleyball. Stop going down the East Coast rabbit hole. I only said West Coast teams are soft. Maybe Penn State. Volleyball, yes. Boston College. Penn State is close. Rutgers. Good morning. Jody's in the house. Pennsylvania is dangerously close to the ocean. Is it a coast? Like when you think of coastal states, Pennsylvania doesn't strike me as a coastal. Like Pennsylvania is like, I mean, once you get a little further away from the east side of Pennsylvania, I mean, that's like freaking Midwest, Western Pennsylvania. Go Buckeyes. I want that coach to get the Tom Coughlin treatment. Everyone calling for his job. Goes out and wins a chip. Zach says, I don't live in Dane County. No one is coming at me. John says, Zach uses AI. If he's still alive in 2026, then I'll migrate over. Max says, back from the dead of New Year's Eve. Made it to bed by 6 a.m. Still some aftershock. Have we talked about harvesting of memorabilia cards yet? No. That's a new thing now. People are cutting up. And I get scorned for throwing away a beat up 1991 Donruss while there's these animals out there cutting up memorabilia cards just to see do I have any, but I don't want to cut one up. I'll throw away some 91 Donruss, but I don't want to throw away a memorabilia card. That's a whole $1. But yeah, so people are cutting up jersey cards. And the back of the swatch. Do I have anything over here? I've got one of my boxes somewhere has a whole bunch of memorabilia. Not that box. I don't think there's any memorabilia cards in this pile that I grabbed. I just grabbed a random pile. No. But so basically people are cutting up the memorabilia cards, and on the back of the jersey swatch within the card is like the name of the player from the jersey. And like in all instances, it's been a different name than who's on the card. So do I have a football card in here? Oh, I do have a jersey card. How let's see that. So Sam Darnold. So people are cutting up this Sam Darnold jersey card, and on the back of that green swatch, it'll probably say like Michael Carter. But I'm not going to cut up a Sam Darnold jersey card. So yeah, I really don't care because, and here's why. The enclosed player-worn material is guaranteed by Panini America. That's a pretty like broad statement. Like it is player worn, but it doesn't say this enclosed player worn material is guaranteed to be worn by Sam Darnold. So there's like, you're not gonna win any court case by sports card nonsense. Like it's good. Like when you're taking a dump and you need some type of reading material, like sports card nonsense is a great Facebook group to like just, but you never know if people are like being just, are they making shit up? Like Reddit is like, are they just making this story up or do they actually think that? The post that I read yesterday in that group was a guy says his wife's law firm is going to take up a class action lawsuit. Like they've got a pretty good case to bring a class action lawsuit. It's like, oh my God, you can't be serious. That law firm is not very, I wouldn't want to be using that law firm. Let's just say that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty much, it should be common knowledge that even if it says like game worn, like I don't believe it. Like I don't believe it's game worn. I don't believe it's game worn by, maybe it's game worn, but it's game worn by, if you have a Sammy Sosa and it says game worn, was it really game worn by Sammy Sosa or was it just game worn by some schlub. So and that's why I don't really like jersey cards. Now, if I find them in the dollar box, a Cubs card in the dollar box, I'll buy them. I don't even like buying them to resell because they're a pain in the ass. And a lot of what I've learned is a lot of people are similar in thought to me where, I don't really want this unless I can get it for $1. So I don't really care about jersey. Now, if it's a high-end product, I have a different stance. If it's like Topps, what's the, I don't know. If it's like one of those fancy, or let's just say Panini, because I think a lot of these are Panini that are being ripped open. National Treasures, I think that should be like a Sam Darnold jersey swatch should be Sam Darnold if it's in National Treasures. Like, don't be skimping on a box like that. If it's Donruss and you pull that out of a box from Walmart, I'm okay with that jersey being worn by Michael Carter and not Sam Darnold. Like, I don't give a shit. But that's just me. And I know some people are up in arms, and I don't really care. Zach says, John, you need to be concerned about steal takeovers in your state and not my use of Copilot to scale up my TCDB store. John says, my PSA to remind you that there's a Whole Foods a block away from your hotel. Whole paycheck. I'd rather walk 2 blocks to Walgreens than a block to Whole Foods. Brian says, no, I mean cardboard, as in the Christmas shipment boxes from the past month. Also picking up a snow blade for the mower today. Snow incoming. John says, you can hit the Planet Fitness upstairs before you carb up. JK says, I canceled my Car Dealer Pro subscription after trying. Well, that's a bummer. John says, I roll back into Chi-Town on January 21st. We're like 2 ships passing in the night. I'll be, what's the dates that I'm going? Like the 16th through the 19th? Whatever that weekend is. I go in on Thursday, come back on Sunday. January. Yes. 16th through the 19th is when I'll be in Chi-Town. Good morning, Scott. What's going on? John says, I just bought all the Fisks in your store. Remove the comments when you share your screen. I will give you $5 right now for that Fisk. Pull it down. Wilson, you'll probably win it for less than $5. Nobody's going to bid $5 for a Carlton Fisk. Wilson Fisk from Daredevil. John will give me 99.5 cents, aka Kingpin. That's a movie I haven't seen in a long time. That's one of those movies. Kingpin is one of those movies where, like, there was a time where I would watch it like all the time. And then now it's like I rarely watch. I think it's because there's so much to choose from now. Like, we have so many streaming options, so many different movies. But like back in the day before streaming, it's like, I'll watch Kingpin again. It's on TV, or I'll break out the DVD back in those days. Zach says, I don't try very hard. I look at your eBay store, trade, and go to card shows. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Peter says, New Hampshire has like 16 miles of coast. That's a good one. Like, what coast? What are the states that have the coastlines? Because I don't know. I don't know that. Coastlines. What states have the most coastline? You know what the answer is? Alaska, Florida, Louisiana. But that's like South Coast. It's not East Coast or West Coast. Louisiana's on the South Coast. Maine. So it's Alaska, Florida, Louisiana, Maine. The old Black Bears, they're not winning many bowl games. California, North Carolina, Texas, also South Coast with Louisiana, Virginia, Michigan. Those are all lakes. The Midwest coast. Maryland. New Hampshire has the shortest coastline in the United States, around 18 miles. All right, here's Wikipedia. All right, this gives us a better answer. Alaska ranks number 1, Florida 2, California 3, Hawaii. You would think Hawaii would have a lot of coastline, a lot more than that, but I guess it's a small area. Alaska, very large area. Louisiana, Texas, North Carolina, Oregon ranks 8th. 9th is Maine. Massachusetts ranks number 10. And then you've got South Carolina, Washington, New Jersey, New York, Virginia, Georgia, Connecticut, Alabama, Mississippi, Rhode Island, Maryland, Delaware, New Hampshire. So those are your coast, whether it's Gulf of Mexico or either of the oceans. John says we've colonized the shore in South Jersey. Pennsylvania is a deep water port. Look at the Delaware Bay on a map someday. Not a coast. Many of our famous naval ships were built in Pennsylvania. John says, Bo wearing mom jeans today. Full frontal Bo is my enjoyment for the morning. What is a mom jean? What classifies as a mom jean? Let's see. Max says, no, don't do it. I can't stand seeing that shit. You can do what you want because you can own the card, but I can reserve my own opinions about you after doing it too. Brian says, I hear Wander Franco patches are actually Epstein labeled. Big if true. Relic cards are still a thing. They are. Thought the hobby had moved on. Nope, relic cards still a thing. Brian says, is that why my Tony Batista relic just sold? Probably not, but maybe. You never know. Porter says, I don't think any of my relics. I don't sell many jersey cards because they're a pain in the ass. And a lot of people don't like them. Bo is going to bleed out on his own live stream, trying to cut into a napkin relic. The early relics were player and game worn and said so on the cards. Then the flippers took over. Max says it used to be a good group. Now it's actual nonsense. Reddit cesspool. It is. Yes. Completely agree. It's like fucking Reddit. Brian says class action lawsuit that we join and get a payout of more napkin relics. The payout you would get in the off chance that a settlement was made, the payout wouldn't even afford you a $1 card, a $1 napkin relic. You would get like 18 cents. Zach says, the whole hobby took a wrong turn after the Fisk 1993 baseball card magazine was launched. Pull it down. Soda killed Ricky Henderson. I wonder if it was Pepsi or Coke. Soda killed a lot of them. Yeah, it does. It does. Soda is a mass murderer. L1C says it was game worn. They played a game of tic-tac-toe in a conference room. There you go. Zach says Sportflix greater than relics. Don't at me. Ooh, I'm going to hard pass on that one. No, Sportflix. I'd rather have a napkin relic than a Sportflix. That dude from Duryea, what's up? Food companies owned by the cigarette companies. They are trustworthy and care about our health, right? GNC baseball cards. What's happening? Good morning, Arizona. Basement card collectors in the house. Good morning. Zach says, how dare you? John says, last time someone said, I'll give you $5 if you pull it down. It didn't turn out the way I expected. Brian says, Big Earn needs to meet Lil Earn. Max says, Wilson Fisk is not the same kingpin you were thinking of. JK says, you missed my comment below saying I canceled my Card Dealer Pro subscription trying to save you money. I didn't miss it. I think I posted it. You canceled Card Dealer Pro. Kingpin was filmed on the East Coast. Canada has over 200,000 kilometers of coastline. That is baffling. Orlando, shout out Florida. Zach says, stick to miles, you anti-American measuring fool. John says, I would think Wyoming has a small amount of coastline. Orlando says, you can't go swimming in Alaska. You can, but wouldn't recommend it. Brian says, I see Illinois has a large coast on the Mississippi River. There you go. There's some coastline. Keating's Flesh Corsage has a large coastline. We could see the Guess logo on your right cheek. Mom jean equals boot cut from hip to ankles. I don't think these are boot cut. No, these are not boot cut. These are straight leg or regular leg, whatever the hell they are. These are not. I don't think I have any boot cut jeans anymore. Z Cavarici. Wow, there's a throwback. Z Cavarici. Let's see. Zach says the payout for that is less than the payout from winning Name That Player. Brian says, how about Jersey Fusion? Oh, my God. Jersey Fusion. Big time. Those are the shittiest looking cards I've ever seen in my life. Why people, and I see like dealers have them on their table. It's usually like a random one or two that they probably got as a throw-in because people don't want them. Why do people buy that shit? Jersey Fusion. The ugliest goddamn cards I've ever seen. Isn't L1C a measure of cholesterol? I think it is. Todd's in the house. Good morning. Maine Black Bears is an FCS basketball team, one of the few never to make the tournament, but we do have 2 hockey champions. Yeah, Maine Black Bears, big hockey. In the Maine Black Bears, one of the few never to make the NCAA tournament, along with my alma mater, the Western Illinois Leathernecks. Brian says, Lacey don't wear mom jeans yet. Do you still have your loot shoes? I have no idea what loot shoes are either. Brian says, I see people try to resell Jersey Fusion cards at the Madison Card Show. It's so funny. Yeah, I see those on tables every once in a while. I'm like, oh, this is like, why? Burn Jersey Fusion, yes. Kyle says, I don't like relic cards in my NASCAR collection, especially driver suit cards. Many drivers piss their pants during a race. I don't want Dick Trickle's pissed up uniform in my collection. John said, Maine has also won 4 log rolling championships. Porter says, my LCS is always hawking Jersey Fusion for a substantial markup, no doubt. And Maine will forever claim Cooper Flag. John says, I've never seen Jersey Fusion cards. I honestly thought you were talking about a Snapple flavor. No, they are a real thing. If anybody hasn't seen one, I'll flash one on the screen. Jersey Fusion card. Images. Oh my God. This might be one of the worst ones I've ever seen. We want to do this screen. Here you go. Here's Jersey Fusion. So that's Jersey Fusion. Look at that. It's just basically what they do. If you've never heard of Jersey Fusion, they take a regular card like off my table, like a Derek Jeter Fleer, and then they put a random piece of jersey and like tape it on top. And then they mark it 5 of 10, and then they put it in their own little shitty Jersey Fusion slab. So you buy them by like the box. Who is going to pay $2,000 for this piece of shit? Come on, really? I guess maybe because there's Jordan on it. So here's the back, like, and of course this is all like on top. So there's no like you can get, I guess you can get away with doing this if it's like on the top of the cards as opposed to like making your own card. This Jersey Fusion includes material from the players featured on the accompanied original trading card. So basically, this is an asking price of $2,000 because there's apparently a piece of jersey from Michael Jordan. Now, I mean, what the hell are those 2 things on the right? Are those like sweaters? Karl Malone and Magic Johnson wore those sweaters, and then like what? And I'm trying to like piece together if they were actually worn. Like those looks like fucking somebody bought Karl Malone sweater from a garage sale. But on the left there's an actual jersey. Maybe that belongs to, and I guess you don't know what order these are in, but I don't know whose jersey that would be. That the bottom left looks like a Trailblazers colors. I don't. So that's Jersey Fusion. Looks like shit. Let's see. Where are we at? Zach says, Keating just put in more than I was willing to spend. As a rule, I can't put in another bid. Uh-oh. Was there another bid put in on the Carlton Fisk? No, I don't think so. Oh, wait. Oh, bunch of new bids. Oh, wow. Ooh, it's up to 425. New bid on there's a Mattingly rookie that went live last night. L1C says, I will pay good money for Dick Trickle's pissed up patch, even more for a cigarette burn. John is marked safe from Jersey Fusion cards. Same here. Zach says, I just saw Jersey Fusion cards for the first time a week ago. I don't think they're that bad. Ooh, really? This hobby got a hard on for card art a few years ago. No difference. And I agree. It's just one of those weird card art type deals. Not that card art is weird. It's just, I feel Jersey Fusion, it's more card art than it is card. Brian says, what about these 8x10 photos by Fanatics? I'm not familiar with those. John says, where are those card art heroes now? What scam have they moved on to? Porter says, I got a McCovey Jersey Fusion card in a bulk buy. I hope I get Cooter for Secret Santa next year. He's going to cream his mom jeans. Max says, it looks worse than I would expect from a second grade art project where the object was to create your own jersey card. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It looks like something little Johnny in second grade would be doing. Jordan says, scan the QR code. It tells you where and when wore. Oh, really? All right, let's do that. Is it going to work? Oh, it actually does. All right. So I've scanned the QR code. Sportscards.com. They got a great website address, URL. God, these are so ugly. So when I scan the QR code, it doesn't go to like that specific card. It just goes to the website. Motherfuckers. Where are we at? John says, I didn't bid on the Fisk, Zach. I sent you, Cooter, and Bo some post-holiday gifts yesterday. I'm a giver, not a taker. Well, thank you. Zach says, no worries. I'm buying the Ed Obradovich rookie from your store, so I know that will mark us even. Piggy bank art cards went crazy. Max says they are fucking awful. John says, how do we trust that they are telling the truth when they say when it was worn? Yeah, we can't. We just have to take their word for it, I guess. Brian is heading off to work. Have a great weekend. Good luck at Name That Player. Have fun at work. Max says, I don't know if there is an uglier card in the entire trading card universe. I don't think there is. I really don't think there is. Jersey Fusion. Awful, ugly, terrible. All right, we are going to play Name That Player, and today it's Junk Wax January. We've got a pile of junk wax now, not because I know Zach is going to argue at least one of my choices. Yeah, probably only one of my choices. Because one of these is technically not junk wax. Let's see. Max says, I'd rather have a picture of a high primate than a Jersey Fusion card. Zach says, to be fair, the cards I saw were 1990 score Jay Hilgenberg and 1991 score Richard Dent cards. The original was open for improvement, and I was looking for a unique item for a collector from that era. GNC says, Jersey Fusion equals Goodwill pallet of socks. Rich says, Ed Obradovich had one of the most important INTs in Bears history. Zach did not buy. John says, signature rookie cards are the worst ever card manufacturers. What the fuck is Tetrad anyway? Thanks, Rich. Unicorn Cupcake. Jordan says, they sell well, but to each their own. Do they really? Ugh. Matt Like is here. What's up? Jay Hilgenberg, a great Hawkeye. Matt Like is here for Junk Wax January. He was at the Madison Card Show on Saturday. Let's play Name That Player. Here's the leaderboard. I've got to get where did I put my phone? Oh, over here. Here's the leaderboard. Junk Wax January. All but one of these is Junk Wax. One is if it were baseball, would be considered junk wax, but it's not a baseball card, so I guess it's not junk wax. All right. So let's see. I've got my YouTube is up. Let's go play Name That Player. All right. We're going to start with one of my favorite sets of all time. 1989 Pro Set. Love this set. Who is it? I think this is a perfect photo of a New York Jet. Looks like he's fumbling the ball. All right. Ooh, we've got some confusion. It is not Ken O'Brien. It's not Chris Sabo. It's not Morgan. It's not Ken O'Brien. It's not Vinny Testaverde. It's not Neil O'Donnell. It's not Jack Trudeau. It's not Phil Simms. Matt Light got it. Yes, it's Pat Ryan. Pat Ryan. I knew Matt would get it after Ken O'Brien was ruled out. Pat Ryan. Looks like he's fumbling. Perfect New York Jets photo. Matt Light on the board. Let's see. Where's Matt? Matt moves up. He's got 4 points and is now in a tie with Dave Arnold and that dude from Duryea. Next up, we go baseball. Same year. Baseball. 1989. All right. Next up, baseball 89. Ooh, this is a tough one. Unless you know your 89 tops. If you know your 89 tops, you'll probably get this player. Matt Like. Wow. Matt Like knows his junk wax. Bill Bean. I didn't even have to give the Dodgers. Bill Bean. Let's see. Where are we at? So Matt Like with another point. And he's now at 5. And he now moves up into a tie with Michael Renicky and Peter. Next up, back to football. This is kind of, this is fringe junk wax. I wouldn't really consider this junk wax, though. Well, I guess it is right smack dab in the junk wax era. So, confirmed junk wax. Yeah, if you're really slow, if your computer's really slow, just hit the refresh. That should work. It is Eric Kramer who was first. Eric Kramer, Scotty Dubs. Scotty Dubs was first. L1C was second. Noel Martinez was third. Matt was fourth on Eric Kramer. And went on shortly after that, went to the Chicago Bears. Scotty Dubs. I know Scotty Dubs knows his junk wax. And he is now in a tie with Matt, Peter, and Michael. Move him up. Where are we at? All right, so Scotty Dubs on the board with 5. All right, next up, baseball. And this is the heart of junk wax. 1988. 1988. Although, you'll probably recognize this guy. He's on TV. 88 Donruss. Al Leiter is correct. Michael Renicky first. Peter second. Rich third. Max fourth. Matt fifth. L1C sixth. Everybody knew Al Leiter. Rated rookie Al Leiter. Who did I say was first? Michael Renicky was first. And he now moves into a tie. So he breaks out of the tie with Peter, Matt, and Scotty Dubs, and now is in a tie with Card Hobbyist. Peter says I was the first to spell it right. Yep, I guess. Yep. Michael misspelled it. We don't take points off for misspelling. All right. Next up. Let's see. So this is the non-junk wax that I said it's pre-junk wax for football. One of my favorite designs of all time, regardless of sport. 1986 Topps. Michael Renicky. He was fast enough to put both first and last names. You got credit for Mann. Charles Mann, Michael Renicky. Michael Renicky. And he is now in third place, just behind Uncle Rich. Moves up ahead of Card Hobbyist. All right, next up, baseball. 1990 baseball. By the way, there are no like superstars. Al Leiter might be the biggest name of all 13 cards. I guess Charles Mann. Charles Mann's a big name. That's a football big name. But if you got these cards in a pack, you'd be like common. These are all commons. Yeah, Charles Mann was good. Let's see. 1990 score. And this guy had a good career. It's not like he was a schlub. It is Charles Nagy. Max on the board. He thought he was going to get shut out. I'm going to give it to Max. Scott, unless I'll let the chat decide. Scotty Dubs was first, but he said nay. Max was second with Nagy. So should we give it to Scotty Dubs or should we give it to Max? I'm leaning Max. Uncle Rich says nay is close enough. Peter says spelling counts. L1C says no. So we've got one for it, one against. Oh, John Maybe says Scotty had it. Scott was first. Scotty Dubs was first. Michael Renicky says Scotty. He left the G out. Peter says he's an English major. Max says, nobody wants me to have the point. You know that. Well, somebody was on your side. Or maybe it was you. All right. We're going to give it to Scotty Dubs. Rich went Scotty Dubs. John Maybe. Michael Renicky. All right. There you go. Scotty Dubs, you get the point. Where are we at? So he's at 6. And he moves up into a tie with Card Hobbyist. Yes, Card Hobbyist. All right. Peter and Matt are at 5. All right. Next up. 89 Pro Set Football. We've got 3 89 Pro Set Football today. All right. Where are we at? All right. And you can leave a letter out if you want. We'll give you the point. 89 Pro Set. It is not Otis. It's not Lawrence Taylor. It's not Leonard Marshall. It's not Wilbur Marshall either. Let's see. We do have a correct answer. It's Carl Banks. Who was first? That dude from Duryea was first with Carl Banks. Carl Banks. So that dude from Duryea. And he is now in a tie with Dave Arnold, 4 points. We're spreading the love today on Junk Wax January. All right, next up. 90 score. Now this is junk wax, but it's really not a junk wax set. It's from Score, but it's not the Score set. It's Young Superstars. This is a tough one. This actually might be the toughest of the day. I think this will be the toughest one of the day. It's not Andy Bennis. It's not Smith. It's not Bennis. It's not Whitson. It's not Allen. It's not Bees. It's not Davis. It's not McCullers. It's not Andy Bennis or Alan Bennis. It's not Kurt Schilling. It's not Hammaker. It's not Martinez. It's not Hawkins. It's not Gow. It's not Keith Comstock. It is Greg Harris. Matt Like with the point. Greg Harris, relief pitcher, San Diego Padres. Matt back on the board, and he breaks out of that tie with Peter. And he now is in a tie with Scotty Dubs and Card Hobbyist. Next, back to football. Pro set, but it's not 89. It's the follow-up year, 1990 Pro set. Cleveland Browns. It is Kevin Mack, Matt Like. Matt Like and Scotty Dubs know their junk wax football. Pretty sure, yes. Matt was first. Scotty Dubs was second. L1C was third. Jordan was fourth. Matt Like with the point, and he is tied with Michael Renicky at 7 points. All right, next up, back to baseball. We're getting toward the end of junk wax on this card. 1993. 1993 Donruss. Cincinnati Reds. It is not Stottlemyre. It is not Sullivan. It's Tim Belcher. I was going to give a hint away. He was the first overall pick, first overall pick. Tim Belcher. And SoCal guy with the point. SoCal guy with, is that your first point of the new round? I believe it is. All right, we got 3 left. We're back to our 89 Pro set, our last 89 Pro set of the day. Didn't he die in a car crash? Tim Belcher? I'm not sure. With Tim, I don't think he was part of that. That was wasn't that a boat crash? Tim Cruz and Steve Olin. Tim Belcher still alive and well. So he did not die in a car crash, nor did he die. All right. Oh, yeah, Ojeda was in there. Yeah, there was like 3, was it Cleveland Indians players that were killed in a boat crash? It was around that time. It was around 93, 94, somewhere in that range. 1989 Pro Set. New England Patriots. It is Fred Marion. Matt Like knows his 89 Pro Set. Fred Marion. Fred Marion. All right, 2 left to go after this. Matt Like with the point. And Matt now ties second place with Uncle Rich. All right. This is from 87. Ah, the Dick Belt, the 90 Pro Set Dick Belt card. Yeah. Michael Renicky all over it. Jeff Reardon. Jeff Reardon. A lot of people knew. Everybody knew Jeff Reardon. So Michael Renicky got it first. Misspelled, but we'll give you the point. He got all the letters in there. Dat Dude from Duryea, just to clarify, Dat Dude from Duryea was the first to correctly spell it. We're going to give it to Michael Renicky. Let's see. Michael Renicky. He now moves into a tie for second with Rich and Matt. All right, next up, our last card of the day, back to football. Max says we might have to go to correct spellings next week. Maybe we should do that. We'll make a rule next week. It's got to be correctly spelled, all in order. Mark Vlasic is the correct answer. And it's spelled correctly also. Matt Like with the point. Mark Vlasic. How about that? That was actually probably the most obscure, although that's a mainstream. The Greg Harris was not a mainstream set. That's why I thought Greg Harris was going to be the most obscure. Vlasic, though, from like a player standpoint, that is pretty obscure. Matt Like moves up into sole possession of second place. So here is the leaderboard. Max shut out today, has 14 points. Matt Like, sole possession of second place with 9. Uncle Rich and Michael Renicky tied for third with 8 points apiece. We've got Card Hobbyist and Scotty Dubs at 6. Peter has 5. Dave Arnold and Dat Dude from Duryea with 4 each. We've got Shane, John, and L1C with 2 points apiece. And with 1 point each, Philly Joe, Unicorn Cupcake, Christian, Spam Likely, Scott Hermanson, and today getting his first point of this round, SoCal Guy, 1967. So next week, correct spelling. So nay would not count. What was the other one? Reardon, misspelled, will not count. So next week, you've got to spell it correctly. Yes, Denny Heshavaria, Jeff Samarja. Maybe we should do that. Maybe next week we'll just do a spelling contest where it's going to be Jeff Samarja and Denny Heshavaria and Damakan Sue, but you can't, you have to do his full name. You have to do his full name today. So we'll do correct spelling next week. Rich says, I respectfully disagree on the spelling. Well, I'm in charge, Uncle Rich. So next week, and that is how you correctly spell Jeff Samarja's last name. So next week, we'll do it on a trial basis. We'll do it next week, and then we'll go from there. Decide if we want to keep it. So bring out your yardstick and crack knuckles if there is incorrect. Yes. That dude from Duryea says, no modern was a nice touch. I think what I want to do is I think we'll kind of spread it out. I'll try to do a little more like 70s, 80s, 90s today. Kind of spread the wealth. Because it was when we did junk wax in the past. Remember when Scotty Dubs had like the run that Max had. We do a lot of modern. Max knows modern. Scotty Dubs and Matt Like, they know the junk wax and Uncle Rich. And it's just not fun when one person is at 50 points and everybody else is at 20. And that's what it was when we were doing junk wax only. We started doing just junk wax. I was opening packs. And, if it was 91 Stadium Club and you just built the 91 Stadium Club, it's no fun. One person running away with it. Let's see. Max says, please let's not do spelling. I don't want to hear people bitch. More variation on the cards, though. Yeah, we're going to do more variation. Red Light says, who cares about the spelling? It's not like you get anything for winning. That's also true. That's also true. Michael says, I would brag about it for months at card shows, especially to Max and Tom Coleman. Dat Dude says, it's been a while since I saw wrestling or racing. Well, maybe we'll see one next week. Uncle Rich says, I agree with Max on both points. What were the points? Not do spelling. I don't want to hear people bitch. More variation on cards. Yes, we'll do more variation. We'll do more variation, but next week we're going to do spelling. You've got to spell it correctly. That way we don't have to go and say, well, it was kind of, because there's really no, like, I give credit typically if I kind of go by, I don't know what game it is, but as long as you have like all the, I guess it's Jeopardy and Final Jeopardy. If you have like all the letters, doesn't have to be in the correct spelling order, but if all the letters are there, you get it correct. But like with the Nagy, like that's just not even, like we can assume, like, is there another player with the name N-A-Y? I don't think there's ever been a Major League Baseball player with the last name N-A-Y. But it's also like not all of the letters are there. It's grossly misspelled. So that's why I was not going to give the point to who got that one. Scotty Dubs, I think. But then it's like, well, this Jeff Reardon was misspelled and you gave him. Well, all the letters were there. So next Friday, you've got to spell the damn name correctly. And that way we don't have to judge it. And it's just like, well, I got the card in front of me. It's spelled this way. So you got to be fast and accurate. So we'll do it next Friday only, and we'll decide from there. And then I'll let you decide after next Friday's game. You can decide, well, that sucked. And I guess it'll depend on who. Somebody misspells something and gets a point taken away. This sucks. So we'll see. All right. So there we go. Where are we at? Jordan says, I brag about this game every Friday on my Whatnot show. Awesome. Love it. Peter says, spelling is heard. Where are we at? Michael says, no Pokemon, please. Max would crush us. Max might be the only Pokemon guy in here. When Rich gets spoon-fed dead guys. There were no dead. I don't think there were any dead guys today. Were any of these guys dead? We confirmed that Tim Belcher is still alive. I don't think any of these other guys have died. I don't know. Maybe Bill Bean. I don't know. Pat Ryan. I don't know. No dead guys today. I would like to see a live buzzer version of the game in studio like Jeopardy. Jordan says, since no one watches from my stream, I say I win all the time. NTP evolution. Uncle Rich says, no dead guys today must be the reason I had no points. Yeah, Uncle Rich didn't even score a point. So we were not spoon feeding Uncle Rich. According to Orange M, guy, there was. According to Orange M, there was. But Rich didn't have any points, so that defeats your whole point. Could you imagine if Bo did this as part of his show? My card show? Oh, that would be a pain in the ass. Sometimes, the genesis of me doing this game on Fridays was born from the Madison Card Show, and I stole it from Bronco Baseball Card Illustrated. We were playing. He does this game on his YouTube channel, and I think the very first time was like 89 Topps Baseball. He had a pack of 89 Topps Baseball, and I might have been playing it with East Coast Tom. And I'm like, this is a really fun game. I'm going to steal this idea and do it on my YouTube show. And I've seen, I think it was Darren Rovell used to do this on Twitter years ago, he would open a pack of cards and then he would like cover the name and be like, that's Bill Bean. So actually, it was born, Name That Player was born out of the Madison Card Show. Reread my statement. Didn't say he was spoon-fed today, but has in the past. I've never spoon-fed anybody. It's just, let's mix it up. I think Max just says these things. When he doesn't get a point, he gets cranky. And he wants to be spoon-fed. Should we spoon-feed only modern cards to spoon-feed Max when Max wins back-to-back because he's spoon-fed modern cards? Maybe we should spoon-feed some dead guys to make it even. Or should we only cater to Max? Let's only cater to Max, since that's what he wants. Jordan says, I might do it tonight, open pack, see if anyone knows. Where are we at? Max has won 3 in a row. Max says you missed one back, FYI. So there you go. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. New auctions went live last night. So I've got about, I think 300 or so auctions are live right now. Next auctions ending will be on Tuesday, and we'll go live. We'll go live on Tuesday night, back to our YouTube live streams for eBay auctions live. And then Wednesday, Thursday, I plan on putting some auctions up to begin tonight. And next Friday, I don't particularly care for ending auctions on Friday nights, but last couple of times I've done Friday night auctions, they've done no worse than any other night. So, and I was actually surprised by one of the nights. I was actually surprised by how well my Friday night auctions did. So, I plan on putting some auctions up going live tonight. What else? And on the buy it now section of my eBay store, when you buy 7 or more cards at regular price, or items, not just cards, 7 or more items at regular price, you'll save 25% off at checkout. Here's a good parting note. It's for fun. Yes, it's for fun. You're not winning prizes. Where are we at? LMAX says 30-year dealer, 25-year eBay seller here. What's this channel about? It's a channel about nothing. Sometimes we talk about eBay selling. Sometimes we talk about what is the best cereal. And sometimes we just argue about spelling Charles Nagy's name correctly. We talk about anything and everything, but we do talk a lot about reselling here on this channel. So every once in a while, if you do have questions in the live stream, if you are new here, throughout the live stream, I go live every morning around 7 a.m. Central, and then weekends around 8:30 Central. If you do have questions or comments, concerns, anything like that regarding reselling and card reselling, you can ask a question and we'll go down that rabbit hole. Sometimes we're talking about what we had for dinner the night before. Let's see. Uncle Rich says, if I really wanted what was best for me, I'd just tell Aunt B, to do 1968 to 1972 in all sports. LMAX says Friday and Saturday are the worst nights for eBay because of low traffic. I've had really good, the last couple, and typically I don't do auctions ending on Fridays and Saturdays. I'm careful with what I list, depending on which day I run auctions. But Friday nights, Saturday nights are my least favorite night to end auctions. But the last couple auctions I've ended on Fridays have done really well, like better than I expected. Not terrible, which was what I was expecting, not awesome, but better than I expected. And I set a low bar, so we'll see. There are 2 specific days to use, but I don't want to say them, LOL. I say them regularly. So my best results are actually in the middle of the week. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my best auction nights. Sometimes Mondays. Sundays are not good. Like, I just do not have good luck on Sundays. You know why? Because everybody wants to run auctions ending on Sunday night. So there's so much more competition on Sunday nights. I prefer, if I was cherry picking nights to end auctions, I would choose Monday through Thursday with an emphasis on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Those are historically my best nights for auctions. Let's see. Where are we at? Mac says, is this iMac from Blowout? iMac, not LMac. iMac. Jordan says, clout chase is very important. Michael Renicky says, I did compete against Tom Coleman on Broncos YouTube. I will let you find it to find out who won. There you go. Check it out. Baseball Card Illustrated. Find Michael Renicky competing on Name That. I think we did. Three of us competed. Me, you, and Tom on one of those games. Michael says, I'll give you a hint. The winner wasn't from the East Coast. I think the most fun was 87 tops. And it was more difficult, even though I've seen 87 tops ad nauseum. It was still difficult. iMac hasn't used Blowout in 50 years. That place is a cesspool. iMac, guys, he's never coming back. I've sold over 200,000 auctions. I've got it down to a science. There you go. I'll give you one day and why it's great. Thursdays, the night before people get a paycheck and aren't going out. You feel like you have money in your pocket to spend and you're home to do it. Max says, didn't you get booted? Jordan says, to do my best Max impression, if you sold 200,000 cards, who cares if you tell us you already have enough traction? Ego. That's why. All right. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit up my eBay store, 99centcards.com. New auctions started last night. I'll have another round of auctions beginning tonight over in the Buy It Now section. Buy 7 or more cards at regular price. You'll save 25% off at checkout. Check it out, 99centcards.com. Have a great Friday. Hey, we will do this. I don't have anything going on this weekend, so Saturday and Sunday, we will go live probably around 8:30 a.m. this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. So check it out. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the morning.